All right, so lesson 11, line of best fit. So sometimes we have data and it is not perfectly linear. Actually, many times in life, we get data that does not fit a perfect equation. And that's real life stuff. So what we do is we look for an equation that fits the best. So since we've only talked about lines and absolute values so far, that's all we're talking about is lines today. We're talking about a line of best fit. You first of all want to create a scatter plot, which you had to do on one of your assignments. And then you're going to sketch a line that most closely appears to follow that trend of the data points. You should have as many points above the line as below it. So you're kind of finding a line that's right in the middle of all the points. You're going to choose 2 points on the line and estimate the coordinates of each point, and then you will write the equation of the line. This is the line of best fit. So looking at this business growth, we could take a line, especially using our CAMI, and we want to try to just approximate, and I don't know that I'm doing the best job, just approximate where the line could possibly be with lines above, with dots above it and below it, about the same amount of dots above it and below it. So we're looking at kind of an average line in there. And then from there we would have to, and I'm saying have to because we're not going to do this, we would have to take 2 points that are on that line or really close to that line, and then we would use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 to approximate the line of best fit. So what could be the downside of this method? Or if there's no downside, we'll just do it this way instead of using our technology. What could be a downside? Ari. You're not going to be very precise, are you? It's not very accurate. If I draw a line and Ari draws a line, is there a guarantee we just drew the exact same line? No. So we could actually end up having possibly 20 different answers in this room. They're probably close to each other, but 20 different answers. It's not very accurate. So instead of doing it the long way, we are going to use our calculator, and the calculator will find the line of best fit. It will actually calculate the average of all of those points and find that exact line of best fit. There's two things you need to know, and the first is the line of best fit, which is the line that lies as close as possible to all of the data. And then correlation coefficient is the other thing that you need to know, and it's going to be denoted by an R on your calculator. The number could range from -1 to +1, and it's telling you how well your line will actually correctly predict these points, how close your information fits to a line. If it is near -1, then the points lie very close to the line with a negative slope. If the line is near +1, then the points lie very close to a positive slope. So it's either all the way at -1 or +1, telling you if it's really close to a positive line or a negative line. So if it's right in the middle of those numbers at 0, that means the points don't really lie on a line at all. So 0 right in the middle that's not a very good prediction. So when the R is near 0, it's it would be like no correlation, which is actually written right underneath it. So right here we've got a correlation, that a line that goes from -1 all the way to +1. It's telling us strong negative slope or strong positive slope, and right in the middle, no correlation whatsoever. So we'll just draw an example of a strong negative slope. It just could be like, there you go. Something that looks pretty close to a line, it's not going to be perfect. That would be a pretty strong negative slope. Now, a strong positive slope would be points that were like, you know, there, pretty close to a line, but going uphill. No correlation could look like this. I have no idea what line I would put into that data. Okay, so over here, we're talking about femur lengths, and there is a picture that shows here's our femur bone. So we're talking about femur lengths in centimeters compared to the height of a person in centimeters. So they took some data. Do you guys think, let's use some common sense, do you think that the length of this bone right here could correlate to how tall I am? Probably. Because if I have a really, really long bone here, I'm probably not really, really short. Right? There's probably a correlation there. So now we're going to find all the information using our graphing calculator at this point. Okay? Before I do anything using the graphing calculator, I want to make sure that you have your calculator set up in the correct mode. You do not have to do this but one time. So if you have your graphing calculator today, you only have to do it once. Let me get rid of this so you can see all the way. What we need to do is we need to go to the catalog. Do you see right down here on that 0 button there's a catalog? We need to do second 0, and that's going to take us to a catalog. And to find anything in the catalog, you want to type a letter. And I'm going to jump to D as a letter right here above this x to the -1 button. It's going to jump me to the D. Agnostic on. So I'm looking for agnostic on. And when you get that, say done. You should never have to do that again unless you restart your rebooted or whatever it's called. Like erase it basically. Now if you don't have a video of this, it works. And if it doesn't, I'll video. Okay. Now we are going to go of it. So you're going to start with data and statistics. And then we're going to 1. Now, I have used this before. To the top of the list, L2 or L1, and you're going to hit enter, and then you hit enter. So I'm going to do that again. I want to clear the list, so I hit clear, enter, and that's how I can clear it all out. So I can see it at the same time. Oh, that made it really tiny though. To input is these X's and these Y's. So I'm just going to go straight to this column and I'm going to hit 40, enter. 40, 32, enter. And then in the second column, I will do the y's. You just have to hit. You will have a list in your calculator. Show you how to make a scatter plot with that information you just typed in. So to make a scatter, we're first going to go to y equals, and if there's anything in there, you need to clear it. I thought I'd in there. Apparently I cleared it last time I was there. So if there's anything in here, you need to hit clear so it's gone. Now, to graph statistics, I actually have to turn it on. So right above y equals is stat plot. We put everything in with stat. Now we're going to go stat plot. So second y equals stat plot. And right now, plots are off. So I'm going to go to the first one. I only need one because I only have one piece of information. I'm going to go to the first one. And when it's on, you'll see it's darkened in. I want the first type, which is a scatter. I want my X list to be the L1. I want my Y list to be the L2. And the mark and the color, I don't know. Okay? This is kind of the information you want. And you'll see nothing happened. Because what kind of numbers do my domain and range? What is my, remember right on this here, what is my domain for my X values? What is my domain? What's the lowest amount? What is it? 30? Is it 30? Is it 30? Yeah? What's the highest amount? 50? Okay. So that's my domain. What about my range? My Y values? What's my lowest Y? Is it 141 or did I miss one? Is that it? What's the highest one? 195? Is there higher than? Nope, that's 195. Okay. So with that information, when I go to my graphing calculator, my window right now, we can even hit the very top. If you hit the window, it's telling you that it's going from negative 10 to positive. Right now are going from negative 10 to positive 10. Well, my Y value is at like 141 to 195. So we're going to change our window to match our data. So how about we make our X-min go from 30 to 50? Or you could even make it go from 25 to 55. So you could see everything. And then, maybe I'll do that. I'm going to go from 25 to 55. I changed my mind. Okay. And then this scale, that is just saying like all those little tick marks, what do you want to count by? And I'll just say 5, something in 25 to 55. I'll just count by 5. That's not super important. Now, the Y minimum, we're starting at 141, so maybe 140. To the Y maximum, going to 195, so how about 200? Now, these numbers do not match mine, but they need to be big enough to have all of your domain and range in them. So I'm counting by pretty big numbers for that. Maybe I'll put 10 for my scale. Now when I hit graph, I haven't done anything new with the equation. When I hit graph, there's the points. They show up. Just looking at them, does it seem like that they correlate to a linear equation? Does it look like we're almost close to? Yeah. So there's our scatter plot on the calculator. There's a couple more things we're going to do. I've not gotten rid of anything. So all the stuff I just talked about, well, it's all on here except we haven't done step 2 yet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually go find the line of best fit. So now I'm doing the step 2 here. Come on. So we're going to find the line of best fit. We're going to go back to stat. Remember, stat and stat plot would be where I tell it to graph statistics. I'm going to go back to stat. And I am now going to calculate. I'm going to go over to calculate. I'm going to hit my arrow up. Linear regression. We're making a line. It's called linear regression. You can see there's kinds of regression, which we'll do. But right now we're just doing linear regression. So I'm going to hit enter. And the ones I'm thinking information. And I think this information is written on here. Oop. Is it the same numbers? Yes. Okay, so it gives us a bunch of information. So I'm going to look at this now. So what this is telling us is it's telling us the equation of the line as y equals ax plus b. So we can write the equation of the line as y equals, we take our a value, which is about 2.60. We put it next to x, and we put plus, and then we do our b value, 64.65 by the time I round it. My stylus stopped writing. It can find things, but it's not writing. There we go. Oh. Come on. There we go. All right, and that's written right over here too. So we found the equation of the line, and then we also find our R value. This is our correlation coefficient. And you can see the R value is 0.99. That's really close to +1. Do you need help, or did she help you? Okay. Yeah, stop me if you need help, or get a friend. So this 0.99, that's telling us it's really close to 1. That's telling us that this line is really close to being a positive correlation, positive slope. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is, this is where it's telling you to graph the data. We're going to also graph the line. So we didn't have the line graphed yet. So this last thing I'm going to show you, so if you need help. You sure? Okay. You just look like it. Last thing I'm going to show you is how to graph the line. Now, I am not going to type the line in my site. Okay? So I'm actually going to copy and paste from my calculator to graph the line. So to do the copy and paste, you first have to tell the calculator where to put it. So you go to y equals, and we're sitting in y1, so this is where we're going to put it. Now to copy and paste, so we're going to go vars, which is next to stat, diagonally, I guess, next to stat. Let me show you, finish the video, sorry. Vars, and then you're going to go then you're going to go over to equation, EQ, and you're going to hit regular equation, and it pops it in for you. And you hit graph, and voila, there is a graph. And then the very last thing that's going to matter, I think, actually maybe it won't matter today's assignment. Let me see. So there was another step after that I didn't get to, but if you guys have any questions, just ask me questions. I can definitely explain the calculator again and go over any of that you didn't understand the first time, if you didn't have your calculator with you.